When Allah says, get young people married, or get non-married people married, allow them to get married, this is a broad commandment. And who does it apply to? You would think it applies to people, okay, once this boy has graduated from school, once he's got a good job, once he's got a good amount of savings, once he's got a little bit of the return on investment paid back to his parents, once he's done all this, and this, and once everybody else in the family is taken care of, then we'll think about getting him married. Because if we get him married right now, all of his attention will go to his wife. We're not going to get anything. So this is our son, this is our investment. We need to get our money's worth first before we allow him to get married. And even when we do get married, this needs to not just be a matter of our material gain, this is a matter of family pride. We need to make sure that's someone that we can show off, someone that we can be proud of and take lots of pictures and invite, have a huge gathering ceremony and be able to show that we married in an upper class family, etc., etc. So the considerations for how you get somebody married, you put age restrictions on your men and your women, as a matter of fact. And for women, it's the exact opposite. In many families, the moment she turns into a teenager, they start getting like, I need to get rid of my responsibility. It's like a disease in your home that you want to just get rid of. That you want to throw this girl out. And there are young women that are depressed because their fathers and their mothers, all they talk about is, you're still sitting at home. You're not getting married. You're still sitting at home. And on the other hand, the opposite is these young men that want to get married, and the parents say, no, not yet. You're not ready. You're not ready. Look at what the ayah does. وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ. Even get the good among your slave men and women. Back then, there was a slave society too. And the people that are making virtually no money are the slaves. Allah says, get them married too. So the rationale that somebody has to be at a certain economic status before you think about marriage was crushed by one statement, removed from the equation. The only thing mentioned in the equation is, are they of the age? Should they be married? And the second is they're salihin, they're good people. Good means they're good with Allah, also means they're mature, they're ready. They're of the age. وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ. And then Allah Azza wa Jal adds to that, because there are people who still consider these matters. إِن يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاء يُغْنِهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. If they happen to be bankrupt, if they don't have a lot of money, don't worry, that's not your problem. Allah will give them wealth from His own blessing. Because bankruptcy to Allah is a lesser problem. But aima means lots of people in society that are not married. That's a much bigger problem. Not having money is a less problem. But not having people tied down in healthy relationships, that's a much, much bigger problem to Allah. When I was studying this word, I even found a narration, أَنَّهُ كَانَ يَتَعَوَّذُ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم مِنَ الْأَيْمَةِ. Rasulullah ﷺ used to actually seek refuge from a society with a lot of single people. He used to be worried about the ummah becoming people, a lot of single people just happy the way they are. And they're not happy the way they are, it's just that their families kept pushing them candidates that they're not interested in. And the one they wanted to marry, they're not allowed to marry. And so they say, whatever, I'll just stay single. And when somebody says, I stay single, doesn't mean I stay an angel. Let's be very clear what that means. If there's a 30-year-old, and he's a professional, and he's making good money, and she's 29 years old or 28 years old, and she's graduated from school, and she's not married, that does not mean temptation hasn't come to them, sin hasn't come their way, that they've just lived this pious life like they're living in the city of Medina back in the day. And by the way, even the city of Medina had its issues. The city of Medina had pretty crazy situations. If you study the life of the Prophet ﷺ carefully, and what happened with the companions around, stuff happened. Just this morning I was reading about the narration of a Sahabi who went back to Makkah, and he used to have literally a girlfriend. The words in the narration are Khalila, a girlfriend, back before he became Muslim. And she saw him and she goes, Malak, what's wrong with you? Don't you want to be alone with me again? Literally, that's what she said. And he said, well, there's Islam between you and me now. That's what he said. And she got mad at him, and she got her brothers and friends to beat him up. And he says, fine, okay, the only way for us now is I have to marry you. And she says, fine, marry me. He goes, I have to ask the Prophet first. Because he doesn't know if he can marry someone who's a non-Muslim. So he goes back to the Prophet ﷺ, and he asked him, and then the ayat came down, لا تنكحوا المشركات. Don't marry mushrik women until they believe. If she wants to accept Islam, fine. If not, then no. If she wants to leave her pagan ways, then fine. But I digress from the point. The first point I wanted to make is, how do we make marriage easy? Because this is the way of shaitan. You know what the way of shaitan is? Shah Waliul Adhalbi rahimahullah put it so brilliantly. The way of shaitan in a society is, you make the haram easy and you make the halal difficult. And when that happens in a society, shaitan has won. Because people will gravitate towards what is easy. So today, if you want pleasure for your eyes, what can you capture on a screen, where the places you can go, the access that you have at your workplace, at your campuses, you know, on your mobile devices, on social media platforms, on dating apps, you name it. All of that has become easy. And while the door to haram, to fulfill, because human beings, men will have desire for women, that's something Allah put inside them. It's not going to go away. Women will want companionship. It's something Allah put inside, it's in their nature. That's why families come together anyway. When that is the door to the unhealthy, the filthy, the impermissible is wide open. And then that young man comes to his parents and says, I think I need to get married. I know I'm only in my 3rd year of college, but this is getting out of hand, Mom. This is getting out of hand, Dad. And he doesn't say, Dad, my hormones are driving me crazy. Man, the girls on campus, I don't even know what to tell you. Seriously though, you know, this one girl keeps texting me out. He's not going to talk like that to his dad or his mom. He's just going to say, Mom, I think I need to get married. He's going to code it in a nice way. And then what do parents do? They humiliate this young man. Oh, can't hold it in, huh? Can't control yourself? So what we've done as parents oftentimes is oppress and suppress what naturally Allah put inside of us, especially in a time when the haram is wide open. Then you have to go out of your way to make the halal easy. You have to go out of your way, and you can only battle the haram by opening the doors to the halal. And to be able to say to our young men and women, this door is open for you. Before you ever even think about making a mistake, come talk to us, let us know. Look, your family pride, you know, you wanted your son or daughter to marry somebody within the race, within the city, within the village, you know, within the extended cousins, God knows what you had in mind for them. You had all these dreams for them. If you wanted to have them marry within the village, why didn't you stay in the village? Why did you bring them here? Why did you let them go to college? Why did you let them see the world? You were trying to pretend that the world is still what it was. It's not. The world has changed. The world was even different from the Meccan Sahaba. When they moved to Medina, the Sahaba noticed, these are not like women of Mecca. This is different. Society was different for them. When people migrate, there's a new society. And we have to adapt to that. And to refuse to accept that is a form of oppression. It actually goes against the ayah that says, allow people to get married. Open that door up. Which comes to the next point. When some proposal comes your way, you have daughters. Like I have daughters. May Allah Azza wa Jal help all of us who have daughters. You know, and sons too. I'll throw them in the dua. But you know, but if you have daughters and some proposal comes, she's of the age, it's a good match, she likes him, it's okay to ask, do you like him? It's not haram to ask. It's actually an important thing to ask. Do you like him? She says, I don't like how he looks. Done. Finished. You can't force them anymore. I'm not attracted to him. Astaghfirullah. That will come. Allah will put it in your heart. No, it won't. That's not how it works. If she says, I don't like him, he's too fat, he's too short, he's ugly, I don't like his personality, whatever she says, she doesn't even have to give you a reason. She doesn't. She could just say no. That's it. And by the way, later on in this ayah, I won't get time to get to it, but I'll just refer to the phrase, وَلَا تُكْرِهُ فَتَيَاتِكُمْ عَلَى الْبِغَاءِ. Don't force your young girls to rebellion. That's the phrase in the Quran. Don't force your young girls to rebellion. And the immediate interpretation actually of it was, don't make young women go into prostitution. Because in Medina, that's what they did with slave women. They used them to make money off of them as pimps, and they used to literally pimp them in the streets. That's what they did. And Quran came and spoke against that. But the phrasing Allah used wasn't just about prostitution. He made it wide open. Why is it wide open? When you force a woman to get married to someone she doesn't want to marry, when you put emotional pressure on her and say, if you don't marry him, nobody's going to marry you, your family's going to be humiliated, we've already printed the cards. When you do this kind of thing to your girls and you get them married, and then emotionally they're not in that marriage, they're still human beings. A human being still needs companionship. A human being still wants somebody who they can be attracted to, who they can find comfort in. That desire does not go away. And that desire will now be fulfilled by fantasy, by them thinking about things, by late night going on social media, by other things. You force them into rebelling against Allah because you force them into a marriage